select, man, please. We will mess up some stuff. You'll mess up the understanding of some things. But I'm sorry, babe. I just wanted to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You know, while you were talking, I was just thinking about Paul when he says, "I die daily." Like you literally have to put your flesh to death. You have to put whatever humanistic way of thinking that you were thinking, all of that. When you go to certain levels in God, you come into your divinity. And your thoughts line up with the thoughts of angels. It's, right. I just really did. It's like I just got taken out of a whole nother world. It was such a shift for me. I really couldn't. It was like, really, like, God, this is how we're supposed to live in you. But we've never, like his word said, I've never seen the righteous forsaken nor his seed begging for bread. We've always had food to eat, and we've always had shelter. We've always been taken care of,
Yeah, even though it may not be what you want, you get what I'm saying? We had to stay with somebody who had a really bad cocaine problem for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I had never experienced anything like that in my life. You know what I mean? It came down to the date, after
And the thing about it was, this is when you were sitting at the lake and you were like, God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Right.
And he offered.
Right.
He didn't know this is what you were thinking, but out of the blue, he had offered you to come,
come and stay with him, because I was like, man, I got to go to a shelter, because the police hadn't delivered the eviction, 3-day eviction. We hadn't stayed in this gentleman's condo for really a year, and the most heartbreaking part of it was he was like the best landlord we ever had, and I hated to not pay this man his rent. He never bothered, harassed. He went a whole year without receiving any rent from us before he actually tried to enforce eviction. My heart just went out to him, and he came by, to talk and ask what was the problem. And I literally had to tell him, the Lord told me this, doesn't the Lord want you to pay rent? Yeah, man, I would want to do that more than anything else. But I know what I heard come through me. And that's what I really made this video about, is the level of obedience that's going to be, it seems, and that I'm the only one. I'm pretty sure some other guys and people, women out there who've had these experiences. I just hadn't come across them. I hadn't heard anybody talking about them. And I wanted to mention it because I was seeing where, oh my God, it's like, it's off the chain, within religion these days. People are doing all kinds of things, not judging what they are doing, but how they doing things. If you would. But this level of obedience that's going to be coming, I'm gonna read to y'all what the Lord gave to me, but it's not gonna gel well with your preconceived notions of what God will and won't do, or will and won't say.
And I'm reminded of the prophets in the Bible.
Right.
Like, it wasn't, the way the prophets lived in the Bible is not just for then. It wasn't just for Jesus to live.
Right.
Said, the Bible says, "Be ye perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect." So we're supposed to live a life just like Jesus lived.
Right.
It's not something that just goes out of fashion.
Exactly.
You're literally supposed to be living like Jesus lived. And like, if and we've had experience just like the prophets. Because when we would be in a situation, I would be, wow, like this is what the prophets and the priests and the and the kings and everything, this is what they literally went through. And it's like, you mean to tell me this still goes on? Like, when you're really obedient, it is like the prophet who, God had already prepared the widow. Remember? Elijah.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
right.
Doing things like she's just getting ready to bake her last cake for her and her son to die. And then he comes to her and says, but, feed it to me first. And she's like, but I only have enough for me and my kid. He was like, give it to me first. But it was out of her obedience.
Obedient.
Now, does that make sense? Because you know, a lot of people don't want to give their last. Like, really, like this is my last. I really don't, have enough to share. You don't, you don't have a lot of that going on.
Most of y'all that are listening to this right now, if you're a female with children, how many of y'all would buy that? A guy coming up to you saying, the Lord sent me here, and you in a famine, and this the last bit you got. No, y'all wouldn't buy that.
But she was obedient.
Right.
And as a result of her obedience, it multiplied tremendously.
Exactly.
And then she was able, had she not, then it's like your obedience is always hinged upon your next blessing. Because her son took ill and
Elijah was able
to raise
him
and Elijah was able to raise him.
Exactly.
Oh, so yeah, your blessings on the other side of your obedience.
Yeah. It's just a little bit, y'all, concerning obedience. This came to me earlier this month, early in the morning. This was before I had got the word last week, speak to them about obedience, this level of obedience. And it's when living a life of obedience to the Lord, there will be times when what you're doing doesn't make any sense to you or those around you. Just know, obedience isn't required to make any sense. It is just required to obey. As best as you can, humble yourself to these words. Yes, Lord, not my will, but your will be done. And then sit still and quiet to the best of your ability while the Lord does his work. Obedience builds trust in the Lord, and that trust is our inheritance. The things that me and my wife has been through over the years, I can't say that I have a healthy relationship with any of my family because of this life. I've had to humble myself to go back to them on numerous occasions after long periods of time and not being around them. For those that have encountered this type of life, if you're discouraged in it, don't be, because a lot of times you're helping them more than they're helping you. If you were disobedient, you could take care of yourself. You get what I'm saying? A lot of things that the Lord has sent me back for was not necessarily for my good, if you will. I got a roof over my head. I got somewhere to sleep. But I've seen where individuals have received some real healing in their lives, because we were there. And not even know what I would call supernatural or miracle healing, is just having a different knowledge of different things and being able to help them. But the Lord just laid upon me to look, you got too much in you. You need to put this stuff out there. I was really ashamed, of my circumstances, and I was even ashamed of that which I knew the Lord had told me to do. I didn't want people to know. That's what the Lord had told me to do, because it's so easy to ridicule. It's so easy to go to that Bible and find word and say, well, the Lord say if a man don't work, he don't eat. Well, I've eaten every day since I've been doing what the Lord has told me to do. It has not been all of what I wanted all the time, but I have eaten pretty damn well. That's, another thing, if you got individuals out here who are speaking truth and they might use a loose word every here, like a cuss word, he would say, y'all, look, everything we speak down here is a curse word and vulgar in heaven. Everything that we speak, everything that a human is nothing but excrement down here, y'all. Stop holding a judgment against your brother, especially if he's speaking truth. You know what I mean? He just doesn't come from the same background that you come from. And the people that he's really helping to come into Christ, they don't understand any other language but that.
And I felt so unworthy to do this video.
Oh yeah.
Because I really did, I just thought my husband was running the game. It was just a whole new life for me. I really thought, this is not God. This is not God. This can't be God. Why would God do this? Why would he do? But see, if I had stayed in my word, if I had stayed in the word, it's all in the word.
It's all in the word.
The life that we're living now has already been laid out. It's already written in black and white. Mm-hmm. It's in the word already. And it's like, wow, so much so much as I've grown so much spiritually, I thought, man, I didn't handle this like a champ because I should have been in my word. I freaked out. I got scared. I felt so shamed. But you know what? It's time to put shame to death. Because you know what? God is my judge. There's not a heaven or a hell that a man or a woman can put me in. God is my judge. And this is why we go through what we go through. So that we can rid ourselves of more of that flesh and that doubt and that fear. You get to the point where you have to completely trust the Lord. You have to trust God.
You have to trust God.
And he always comes through. Mm-hmm. It might not come the way that you expect it to come sometimes, but God always sees to his sons and his daughters.
That's right.
Of the living God.
And you would develop something spiritually.
Absolutely.
You would develop a spiritual fruit, if you will.
Absolutely.
That's
right.
Money can't pay. That's can't
right.
buy that with no
loving
money,
your
man.
neighbor
right.
as if not more than yourself.
Right.
Loving your enemies.
That's
praying
the big
for
one.
them.
Praying
blessing
for them.
them.
Right.
Speaking well of them.
Right.
Being charitable.
Yeah.
Being non-materialistic.
Right.
And being selfless. These are the fruits of the Spirit.
Right.
Love, joy, peace, patience, temperance. All these are the fruits of the Spirit. God is Spirit. And this is what we're supposed to be doing right here on earth. We're supposed to be, we decided to come back. We decided to forget who we are and come back.
A lot of y'all don't believe in things like that, but when you start dealing with eternity is not a period of time. It's a state of consciousness. These are other things. If we keep making videos, we'll be expressing, or talking about a little further on, but we just wanted to get this one out to you guys right now, concerning the state of obedience that a lot of you are going to encounter. Don't be afraid. Just stay in your word, like my wife said, so that you will have the proper support that you need. Stay before the Lord, because you're gonna think you're crazy, and you're not crazy. You're the most sane person probably in your vicinity. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But it's not gonna be well accepted. If it is well accepted, it will be for a short period of time. They're gonna get tired of it, and but you just keep on trucking.
That's
you keep on trucking because. What is the things that we go through now? Mm-hmm.
It shall not be compared.
These
are just light afflictions. Just light afflictions.
Eternity is real. Hell is real, and heaven is
so temporary.
Real. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And we all want to do well down here in this school that we're in. Mm-hmm. That we, a lot of people don't realize that, but Earth is a school. Mm-hmm. It's a school. It's a spiritual school. It's where fleshly individuals graduate into the spirit, and then you when you graduate, you go to heavenly places. If you don't graduate, you go to hellish places. Hell, hell is full of people who love themselves. That's selfish. That's what it's filled up with. People who love themselves, and heaven
and very materialistic.
Yeah, and heaven is filled up with people who love
charitable,
others. That's what it is.
Kind.
That's what it is. But
and I just like to say, as I was obedient, that swelling subsided, and I didn't have those heart palpitations like I had before. That's why it is better to be obedient than to sacrifice. Don't try to hang on to something. When God has called you to do it, do it. The just shall live by faith, and this is literally how we live. And I'd also like to add too, a couple of weeks ago, hubby and I were sitting out at the pool. All right, so, you're still going, there's times when you still, you're supposed to be walking in spirit. We trust God, we walk in spirit, but at times you go, okay, maybe should I do this or should I do that? So we're sitting out there, and there's some landscapers for the community, the subdivision. They do landscaping around the pool area. And all of a sudden, this gentleman, he came to the restroom. He was one of the workers. He went into the restroom, and as he was leaving, he turned around, and he said, I could not leave because the Spirit of the Lord is so heavy on me. He said, do you believe in Jesus? And I said, yeah. And do you believe in the Lord? He said, the Lord is with you. Take a deep breath. Trust God. He said, ask God for direction. Ask him for direction. He said, I just feel the Lord right all over me right now. I mean, we hadn't even spoken to this man. You know, he minds his business. They come and they do what they're supposed to do. And we were just in our world doing what we were doing on the computer, you know, just trying to figure some things out. And these are God's prophets. You see what I'm saying? This man, he was obedient to the voice of God.
Right.
When God said, I want you to speak to my son and my daughter of God.
Right.
And just reaffirm to him that I'm with you.
Right.
Yeah, we're not cursed. God is with us.
Right.
God is with us. When you are with God, God is with you. When you forsake God, God forsakes you. That is the way it goes.
We live in a reciprocating universe, if you will.
And I'd rather God be for me, be for us, because he's more than the world against us.
That's right.
So, you know, like we say, you know, I'm so glad that we did this video.
Yeah, y'all. This is our first video.
First one. Mm-hmm. So glad that we did it. Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yeah. Because I'm just not the one to get up and yippee yap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to actually have something to say. But we're going to let y'all go because we almost down to the end of our time. And we want to thank y'all for taking the time out to listen to us. You could have been doing anything else.
Yeah.
And I hope that the things that we've said have actually helped you.
Yeah.
You know. And peace. And we know that God is with you. All right, y'all. 1.